Welcome. I'm Lynn Harrington. I'm your host for the Q2 TIBCO-Scribe partner call. And before we even get started today, I just wanted to speak a little bit about the new format. Earlier this year, we decided at Scribe that we wanted to just improve upon these quarterly calls that we've been having, maintain the information aspect of it, but also add educational and best practices components to it, and just make them more engaging. So this is our first attempt at the new format, and we will certainly want your feedback on it. A couple of other points to keep in mind is that we will focus on business topics for the first half, and then the more technical, deeper technical topics in the second half. And that's so that you can plan accordingly. They'll be generally 1 hour in length. We'll continue with that. And today in particular, I really wanted to thank our OEM partner, TalkPoint. TalkPoint allowed us to use their platform today, and we were able to also use their TalkPoint Scribe Online connector so that we were able to integrate with Marketo, which was easy peasy to get this set up and going. So thank you, TalkPoint, Dan, and the team there. We appreciate it. So with that, we're going to get started. Just a couple of housekeeping notes, because this is a little different platform than some of you are used to. Most of the normal items that you might take advantage of regarding audio and downloading content is located on the screen underneath the video player. You'll also see a box where you can enter questions, and we will be kind of waiting till the end, so we'll go through the questions. We will definitely leave time for a lot of Q&A today. We know there probably will be a lot, and so just enter those questions as you come up with them, and then we'll address them at the end. Now that we're part of TIBCO, we've got to have a couple of slides, a safe harbor slides. So please keep this in mind, that what we're sharing today, some of it may be confidential, or all of it you should treat as confidential. And then we also have some disclaimer about what we're saying today. So with that, let's just touch base on our agenda. I'm joined here by Peter. I'm going to do a more formal introduction to Peter in a moment, but he's going to talk about our acquisition last week. And then he and I are going to chat about some new assurance services that Scribe has launched within the past couple of months. From there, Panos Zouzos, who is our newest enablement partner. He's based out of EMEA. He is going to share some important partner information and topics. And then Paul Varley, who you all have come to count on to enlighten you on everything new with the platform and connectivity, is going to really delve deeply into a new feature that we think brings a lot of value to users of Scribe Online in particular. And then lastly, we're joined by our integration expert today, Vladimir Almaev of Aquiva Labs, and he's going to share some best practices around reprocessing rows with Scribe Online. So with that, we're going to move to the big topic. So I'm joined here by Peter Chase. Most of you probably know Peter. He's currently the Vice President of Customer Success here at TIBCO, but previously he was EVP at Scribe, but really the person that everyone knew as the founder of Scribe. So that was 22 years ago, and have been together a long time in this journey. And so with that, we thought Peter would be the best person to share some of the details around the TIBCO acquisition. So let's start, Peter. A lot of people have reached out to me and said they were surprised. They were somewhat surprised by an acquisition, but more surprised by TIBCO. So why TIBCO?
Great question. And it's one of those questions that when you look at it in hindsight, you look at the answer in hindsight, it actually becomes really obvious. So if you look at, first of all, the market, we're in a period of digital transformation where companies are looking to, the cloud is really driving a change in the way that companies engage with customers, their suppliers, run their business. And, so one of the key elements of that is data. It's becoming a core element, data integration, data analytics, anything to do with data and information. And, so the integration component is becoming a important key layer in the strategic stack cloud stack for customers. So you've got that in the backdrop. Then you look at where TIBCO and Scribe have come from. TIBCO traditionally has been the digital background for a backbone for some of the largest enterprises in the world, and has really served that market well. While conversely, Scribe has served small and medium businesses as well as departments within large enterprises. You look at the Scribe products, we're talking about the most approachable integration product in the market, according to Gartner's and Forrester's, et cetera, with our graphical user interface, a declarative platform, as well as our deep connectors. We really serve that sort of business unit within a large enterprise where smaller businesses have to connect these cloud applications into their infrastructure and do that quickly with great agility. So you've got TIBCO, who's traditionally served that global enterprise. You've got Scribe, who's traditionally served the outer reaches of the enterprise, as well as small and medium business. Now, in the backdrop of this, a little bit more background is that over the last couple of years, a handful of years, TIBCO has been moving further out into the enterprise. They've been looking to and building up and putting out products that appeal to that business-oriented user within the enterprise, as well as serving our small and medium enterprises than they ever did before. While Scribe has been actually being drawn into larger enterprises and larger deployments. So the two actually naturally come together. I would say that the final point I'll make on this, and it's very relevant to this call, is that one of the key reasons why Scribe was chosen, there were a lot of players in this space, and TIBCO chose Scribe. One of the key reasons for that, in addition to our products, is our partner network. Because when you look at departments within and divisions within large companies, when you look at small and medium enterprises, they don't necessarily have all the internal resources to do these things on their own, and they rely on partners. Mm-hmm. And with Scribe's great partner network, who served these segments well, that was very appealing. So all of that, I think, comes together to make a 1 + 1 = 5. Together, the combination of Scribe and TIBCO enables us to achieve more of a broader vision than we ever did before.
Great. So specifically, what does it mean to the Scribe products?
Right. I mean, that's a great question. You're looking at Scribe Insight and Scribe Online. In the short term, no change. We are Scribe has been doing very well. Our business is growing. We're serving these markets well. So we're not looking to disrupt what we're currently doing in the short term. Mm-hmm. So you'll see the same products and the same pricing with the same product roadmap that we rolled out earlier in the year. All of those things are going to maintain consistency in the short term. In the medium and long term, however, if we really want to achieve the broader vision, we really need to figure out how we rationalize these two products together. And you look at it in two different ways. On the traditional sort of Scribe market side, where we're talking about small and medium enterprises, we're talking about groups and departments within large enterprises. How do we bring more capabilities to bear to the traditional Scribe customer? I mean, TIBCO has a very broad cloud integration platform. Yeah. They've got capabilities in, you look at Mashry with API management, or you've got Jaspersoft with data analytics, and Logo with IoT integration. All of these capabilities we can bring to bear. So we'll be looking at how we can bring those products into the traditional Scribe market and with our partners. On the flip side, how do we, that traditional enterprise customer, how do we enable or sort of rationalize the Scribe product within that suite, the cloud integration platform that's available from TIBCO? How do we rationalize those capabilities to quickly connect applications to be dynamic, and what Gartner refers to as that bimodal integration, right, where you have that strategic platform in the background that gives you all that leverage while you get the ability of that connectivity to the endpoint. So it's really about bringing those Scribe capabilities and folding those into the broader TIBCO suite, so these large and global enterprises and size enterprises, all these companies can take advantage of it. So it'll be a process, it'll be a journey. We'll be looking with to our partners to help us navigate it, so we'll keep an ongoing dialogue. But I think overall it's pretty exciting.
Great. And you've already mentioned the partners a couple of times. Is there anything else that you would share, since that's our audience today, that they could maybe expect, or opportunities they could look for, or in the future?
Well, overall, I mean, the goal, I mean, this is strategic to us. So, overall TIBCO, the partner community here, is very strategic to the objectives that we have. So we're aligned at the highest level. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of details to work through. And we're going to be looking to work with our partners to do that. Again, in the short term, you're going to continue to work with the new sales team as your business partners to navigate this and work through the opportunities that we'll have together. So you'll still work with them. You'll still work with the same technical teams for support and for sales support and ongoing customer support. You'll still work under the same programs. So all of those things will stay the same. Over time, we'll see some growth and advancement, but the objective is to open up more opportunities for both of us, for you, our partners, and for Scribe. How do we collectively take advantage of what we have here, the additional resources, the additional capabilities, and achieve more for our customers and joint customers, and drive more of their digital transformation. So we think there's this, in the middle long term, there's a real strategic opportunity with you, our partners.
Great. Well, thanks, Peter. We when we originally sent out the invitation, of course, what we were going to start talking about before we had this exciting news of the acquisition was assurance services, which was something new that we've launched, and now we feel like that's so last week, but we still decided that we should cover these. They're interesting, and partners are hearing about them, and definitely wanted to share what our thoughts are here. So.
Well, Lynn, as the key driver of this, as you own this program within Scribe, the assurance service in rolling this out, I have a few questions for you that I think our partners might. I think the first and foremost, the most basic question is, what are these assurance services?
So, Peter, they're a set of services that we have designed that are advisory in nature, and they really target specific points within the integration lifecycle. They are a combination of consulting services, training, some other services such as go live hotline support, and we've packaged them up into subscriptions. And we've done that so that we can combine them with their Scribe subscription. We've really spent a lot of time thinking about the cost, but also get customers paying for it in a way that they just get used to having that safety net. The services themselves are very much designed around applying our expertise around integration to drive successful outcomes for customers and for partners. So these are really sort of designed so that the partner might use some of the services, but then the customer uses some of the services, and they're very much focused on success. So that's the key.
So to that point, two questions, follow-on questions. What does this mean specifically to our joint customers, and what does this mean to our partners?
So for customers, I mean, again, it's all about their success. And what we did is we, took a look at our customer base, analyzed some data, and discovered that, first of all, our partners may not realize we actually have customers that purchase three ways from us. We have direct customers. We have those that it's through their partner who's doing a larger project. And then we have scenarios where Scribe and a partner have worked together, and the project comes together under that scenario. When we looked at the customer base and the data, when a partner is involved as compared to a direct customer implementing themselves, the success rate jumped substantially, which, thank you to our partners, because, with the exciting news of this week and all, it's because Scribe has been able to, be used for thousands of successful integrations over the past several years, 20 years plus. And that's really been because of our partner channel. We couldn't have done it without partners, recommending Scribe and then implementing it. So that's been key. When we looked at it, though, we found that the projects where Scribe and partners work together were even that much more successful. So again, when we stepped back and we really thought about how could we take our expertise and build methodologies and build build assets that could be used and best practices, how could we do that in a way that would bring the greatest outcome to customers and encourage customers and partners to bring us in. So that's the other thing. We want to make sure that that it's a very open scenario where both partners and the customers see the value of the three of us working together. For partners, one of the things that, and I don't even know if Scribe has always been really good about communicating this, but we are very focused on mitigating risk for our partners and making integration a profitable business for them. And over the years, we've certainly focused more on the product side and making it very approachable and something that really is, whether it be the ability to build quick POCs or deliver an integration faster, make it more flexible. We've really focused on the product side. This time we decided we were really going to augment the product with expertise so that we can really be a support system for our partners. And I think two of the probably best examples that partners maybe haven't thought about too much, but we have some partners in our channel that either as a partner or at least some of their consultants, because of their expertise and how they work on projects, they only do an integration project maybe once or twice a year. And so they don't have the deep expertise that Scribe, as you can imagine, who has been eating, sleeping, drinking integration for 22 years, they don't have that level of expertise. And we understand that. We wouldn't expect them to. So this is going to give them a way that they can, upsell some services to the customer and then have the safety net to work with Scribe to fill in maybe some of the gaps that they have in those scenarios. And then for our most seasoned partners, what we're finding as digital transformation projects become more and more complex, the integration aspect to it becomes more and more complex. We're starting to see requirements that most of our partners have not seen before. We, again, want to be able to provide something that they could sell to the customer as a subscription. And then it's a safety net for the partners that we can get involved. We can brainstorm with them, whether it be a deployment issue, a design issue, security related, or we can just answer questions from time to time. But you'll be assigned a Scribe expert that will be a great resource for you as you move through these projects. And so we really believe that, in the end, it's going to be something that the partners are going to get as much out of as customers do.
So if we look at it, just stepping back then, this is about customer success. And we're not looking to get into the implementation business. Our partners who do that incredibly well.
Absolutely not.
It is about augmenting those with some advisory services that leverage our expertise to elevate customer success.
Correct. Yep. Okay. Yep. No, it's really about, our partner channel is still going to be our primary route for implementation services. These are really advisory in nature.
Right.
Yeah.
And final question for you.
Yeah.
If I'm a partner, where can I find out more information about the assurance services?
Sure. So our sales team has already started selling these services. So you definitely want to work with your TIBCO-Scribe salesperson. They can get you some links to some web pages we have set up that outline these subscriptions. There are different tiers, and the different tiers, as you can imagine, contain a different set of services. So they can get those links to you so that you can understand what's included, and they can also discuss pricing with you. Our sales team, when we started on this path, actually, the first thing that we wanted to do was prove that we had designed the subscriptions, both pricing and what they include, into something that the sales team could sell that the market would want. And then we were going to prove out delivering on it. Well, we have proven out the sales side of it pretty well because we've sold many of these and we have quite a pipeline. And we've sold already several into projects where the partner was involved in selling the assurance services to the customer. And as I said, the partner has used some of the services and then the customer is using some of the services. And, our goal too is in the end that we're making the transition from when the partner moves along and the customer has to take over, that we're making that a smoother transition as well. So, But back to your question, it's through your TIBCO-Scribe salesperson.
Awesome.
Okay. So with that, we're going to hand it over and introduce Panos Zouzos, who is our newest channel enablement manager. He's based out of EMEA, but I'm going to let him do more of an introduction before he covers some of our key topics.
Thank you, Lynn. And hello, everybody. My name is Panos. I'm Greek, and I work from the EMEA office in the Netherlands. I think this is a very exciting time to join Scribe. And my role within Scribe is to help our partners in EMEA with any material they need, sales and marketing, to position our solutions best to their customers. So what I will be doing is helping our partners with workshops, with trainings for their sales and the pre-sales teams to make sure that they all have the tools they need. Now, one thing that I would like to talk about is the GDPR. The user conference. I will start with that first. On October the 28th, we have our user conference here in Boston. Now, the space is very limited. We can only fit 130 attendees, so registration will most likely close early. Now, what we are going to talk about at the conference, we'll talk about how the API economy can help you create the best experiences for your customers. We'll go through the connectivity that we offer and how we can help your customers get the maximum out of their legacy assets, but also their new modern cloud applications. We'll share best practices with you so that you can help your customers stand out from the crowd. And finally, we'll show you how to create an agile environment which is transparent, easy to use, and scalable. Now, as I told you, the space is very limited, so you should think of already from now, why should you attend and who should attend? Now, to help you think about that, I would ask you a couple of questions. So think about how many customers already are using Scribe, how much of your business is tied with Scribe, how much time you dedicate with Scribe. When I talk to our partners, I see that some of our partners spend 1/4 of their time with Scribe solutions, with migration projects. So think about how many migration projects you have per year. If you have more than 5 migration or integration projects per year, then you should definitely attend. So think about all these questions, and then just register already today, because as I said, the space is very, very limited. Now, another thing that I would like to talk about is the GDPR. Yeah, the GDPR is a topic that everybody talks, not only in Europe, but also in the US. It's a major concern. And of course, we wouldn't like to miss out on that. So that's why we created a dedicated GDPR page. Now, on this web page, you can see exactly how TIBCO-Scribe manages your data and your customers' data, what is the role of Scribe Online, and how you can use Scribe Online to manage GDPR compliance. These are all very important topics, and you should all be aware of that and share it with your colleagues and your customers. Now, to that end, we have also organized a webinar. It's just next week on the 19th of June. So you can already register for the webinar today. And now I will turn to Paul, and Paul will talk about the new product developments for Scribe. Paul?
Great, thanks, Panos. And as Lynn said at the beginning, we're doing things a little bit differently today than we have in the past. So instead of going through all of the different things that have come out, features and connectors and so forth, today I'm going to go into a little bit more depth in the one particular feature. And before I do that, I should remind you that the best way to keep track of everything that we're releasing is to subscribe to the release updates in the Scribe, the community. So if you do that, you'll get an email notification whenever there's something new that you need to find out about. And today I'm going to go into one particular feature that was in the spring release of Scribe Online that I think is going to have a pretty broad application across our customer base, because it solves a kind of a common problem in data management. You have the same problem in your Office files and everything else. What do you do when you make a change to a map that you didn't intend, or it was a mistake? How can you go back and correct that? Well, in the spring release, we introduced this map revision feature that keeps a snapshot of your maps. So every time you save a map, we record that in the database. We even give you the ability to add comments. And then you also can go back and look at the earlier versions of a map. You can see the timestamp, who made the change, as well as these comments that you can put in. And then you can go and export those maps to a file, or you can roll back to a prior version of a map. And right now, this is available to our entire customer base. It's in a preview mode right now, so everyone can use it. And then in the future, it will be restricted to the professional tier and above. So we view this as a premium feature of the platform, and so only the higher tiers are going to have that available. And I think what I'd like to do now is give you a quick product demonstration so you can see how to use this new feature. I'll use the Granite State marketing solution that we give to our trial users to show you how map revisions work. Let's open up the email water sports fans map that comes with that solution and make some changes. First, I'll change the name of the map. We'll email camping fans, and then I'll change the query block name and the filter that we use on the query from water sports to camping, just like in the trial. Then let's change the create block as well. And instead of a paddleboard campaign, it's going to be a new tent campaign. And then down here at the bottom, I'll add a comment. And this goes along with the changes that I made to the map so that some person looking at it in the future can see what I changed. When I click OK, Scribe Online will save the map changes as well as my comments. And I can access those again from the gear menu on the map. If I choose revisions, it'll show me all the historical versions of the map, including the one that I just did with the comments that I made, who changed it at what time, and so forth. And this window also has a gear menu where I can export an older version of the map to a file. If I want to import that again, or even put it in a different organization, I can do that. And the other option in the gear menu is to revert back to an older version of a map. And if I choose that, it'll create a new version that's a copy of that older version, and that'll replace all the changes that I just made. So let's look at the map again to verify that everything's changed. Of course, the map name is changed back to email water sports fans. The filter on the query is back to water sports. And on the create block, the filter or the fields are set to paddleboard again. So that's how the map revision feature works. So at this point, Lynn, I was going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Let me get back to the slides here. Thank you. Okay, so some of you who were on our Q1 call probably remember that we introduced a new segment that we are going to include, Legend of an Integration Expert. And these topics are really focused on either best practices or something that's very innovative that we think maybe a lot of our partners haven't thought about leveraging the Scribe Online platform in a way that they haven't thought about leveraging the Scribe Online platform. So today we invited Vladimir Almaev, who is from Aquiva Labs, and he is going to speak specifically about something that's near and dear to our hearts. But first, just to give you a little bit of background about Vladimir. We always have our expert do a slide so that you can see what kind of expertise they have, not only in Scribe, but a lot of times they have expertise just in integration in general. And Vladimir is certainly one of those people. And with that, he's going to go in and talk, as I mentioned, about a very a topic that's near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is about reprocessing rows with Scribe Online.
Hi, my name is Vladimir. I'm working at Aquiva Labs, and today I will show you how we can automate error reprocessing of any Scribe solution. Consider the case when you have an unstable solution, which sometimes succeeds and sometimes fails. Scribe Online provides an ability to reprocess failed records. When execution fails with record errors, a copy of each source record is stored in Scribe. It gives us ability to retry processing of these failed records. And we want to automate this process somehow. We will implement solution step by step so you will understand each block in the final map. First of all, you should retrieve execution history from Scribe Platform API. We will do that with query block from the Scribe Platform API connector. For our purposes, we just need the latest history entry. That's why we're sorting by start column in descending order. Also, we should distinguish between successful and failure histories. For this purpose, we're using if and else block with a given condition, which filter out history by result value. Before we can reprocess errors, we should mark all of them for reprocessing. Both of the actions implemented using command block from Scribe Platform API connector. In the target connection fields in both of the blocks, you should put IDs of corresponding organization, solution, and history you want to reprocess. Also, do not forget to put true property in a mark field of the mark all errors command. So, the basic solution is ready, but we can go further by adding retry logic. It will require to refactor the map a bit. On every retry, we want to work with latest execution history record. That's why the initial root block decomposed into two. The new root block, which works with solutions, and lookup history block, which will retrieve the latest possible history record. Also, we added a loop with an if-else control block, which uses seek num function as a retry counter, which will return the next value incremented by 1 each time it's called. The counter will be automatically reset after each map execution. Also, you can change the value of the maximum retries. Okay, it's time to test our approach. I'm switching to another desktop. On the left side, I have solution which contains reprocessing logic. And on the right side, I have an unstable solution which I want to reprocess. Let's start solution on the left. As you can see, the first attempt to reprocess failed. But the second one succeeds. Okay, we just learned how we can automate error reprocessing with help of Scribe Platform API connector. If you want to dig deeper, then check out my latest blog post in Scribe's blog, and you will learn more advanced tips like implementing exponential backoff to prevent denial of service, and using memoization technique to overcome the absence of power function. Thank you.
Okay, great. So just so everyone knows too, on today's, this morning actually, we posted a blog on Vladimir's topic, and it goes into a lot of detail. The video is even more detailed. So if you really want to go through this again and get deeper information out of that, check out our blog as of today. I also noticed we got some questions that there was a buffering issue with what Paul had covered, and I don't know if that happened also with the Vladimir's demo, but if that's the case, you will get the link to the Simulive, so you'll be able to see this again if you want to watch it again in more detail and make sure that you caught everything. You'll get those links sent out to you, emailed to you. So with that, we are going to open it up to questions. We definitely have some already, and we were reading them as we were listening to the demo. So probably one of the first ones that came up, Peter, is one that we expected, certainly, and it was a question about Insight and the future of Insight, especially in the context of the TIBCO acquisition.
Great. At this point, no new information on Insight. Insight we continue to support. There is no timeline in terms of how long we'll continue to innovate and support on that platform. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to note that that TIBCO has a number of installed software products that they still sell and support. It's an important part of the overall TIBCO business. So, I think we'll take a look at it, and I'm sure there'll be lots of discussion around the plans for Insight. So stay tuned.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. I don't know if I understand what this partner means, so I'm not sure. It says, how do you value existing partner contracts and pricing? Maybe how do we determine? I'm not sure what that question, how would you?
I mean, how do we value, and I suppose, again, we are probably, I don't know if this is the answer to the question, but I'll sort of talk thematically about our existing contracts and our pricing. Scribe, as part of TIBCO, brings a whole set of market knowledge and expertise about a particular segment, and we're going to make sure we take advantage of that. Right now, there will be no change to pricing or partner contracts and the like. Over time, there may be some evolution of that, but that's going to be driven a lot by the Scribe team and its knowledge and experience in the marketplace. So I think overall, we value you as partners, and we'll be and any changes we make, we'll be looking to enrich the experience for both of us, right, in terms of the customer. So
right.
Nothing yet that's concrete. We're still, we're still getting the sales teams are still getting cross-trained. We're now working on, sort of broader product planning coming up. So stay tuned on that, and we'll be looking for info from our partners because they are important to the overall process. So.
Great. There was a question about the link to Vladimir's blog. We did post resources, so you'll see that the slides are available to you. There's a partner FAQ around the assurance services. We did not have the link to the blog at that time, so I will first look into whether we can still get the link to TalkPoint, and it can be included as part of the resources in the Simulive. So when you got the link to the Simulive, you could certainly access the link that way, or feel free to contact your Scribe salesperson, and they can certainly get you that link. Hopefully you're already monitoring the Scribe blog. It would be great if you did, because we've really expanded the number of authors this year, and we have lots of really great content in there. So Let me see. I think those are the majority of the questions that aren't repeats. So with that, we're going to end today's call. Again, we'd love your feedback on the format and additional content that you'd like to see included in these calls. And I look forward to seeing you in Q3. Thank you.